All right, shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Also, shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the Sports Coma. Feel free to check out FanDuel, MMA, NFL. Being in the offseason, there's still NBA. There's still other things that you can bet on. Everything's available on FanDuel. The app, or go to the website, get your bets in. In this episode of the show, we're going to talk about the Derek Carr, the fact that he addressed some potential returns, his return, and he's definitely coming back in some form of capacity with a weak NFL free agency period for quarterbacks, a weak draft, so to speak. Teams are looking for valuable or viable options for this upcoming season, and Derek Carr sees this as a perfect opportunity to step out there in Front Street and make himself be known. Anyway, let's take a look at this article. Y'all hit the like button, the sub button, the notification button, the bell, everything lighted on up. Big Q talking at you on this version of the show. Derek Carr addressed potential NFL return amid latest rumors on ending retirement. Derek Carr called it a career last May, but the former quarterback revealed that he would return to the NFL under the right circumstances. On his show and his brother's podcast, Homegrown with David and Derek Carr, he said what it would take for him. What would I do it? Absolutely, I would do it. I told you two things. I have to be healthy, and I want a chance to win a Super Bowl, and that's a tough thing to find. That's hard to do. So anyway, let's listen to what Carr himself had to say. Here we go.
Moral story, would I come back? The answer obviously is yes.
Good, okay, great.
But I have I had to say no a couple times so far.
Yeah, Will, we know that. Do I have any purple and gold?
Go Lakers.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. It's Laker season.
That's right. I told you this. It hasn't changed from the first interview that we did.
Tell them.
Okay.
Tell the people.
All right. Would I do it? Yes. Would I do it for anybody? Absolutely not.
Nope, there's no way. I know from experience. In the last couple months, he would not. So stop calling unless you're serious. Unless you're trying to make a run at this thing.
Yeah.
Right? The confetti falling.
Listen.
The Lombardi in the sky. That's what we're after, okay?
Yeah.
That's what we're after.
So would I do it? Absolutely, I would do it. I told you two things. I'd have to be healthy, and I would want a chance to win a Super Bowl.
That's two pretty
and
good factors.
Obviously, that's a tough thing to find. That's hard to do. That's not easy.
I'm going to tell you right now, though, I know you're healthy. So.
All right, that's enough of that. So that's Derek Carr and putting himself in his hat in the ring for a potential return to the NFL. Now, this will benefit the Saints on so many levels because we still control Derek Carr's contract. Now, a team like the Vikings, and there are talking points about the Vikings. There are some people, perhaps, I don't know if the Jets want him. To be honest with you, the Jets don't have a viable quarterback option unless Carr might be somebody they look at. I mean, what are the options for the Jets? Or teams like that who don't really see a quarterback high. Like you look at the Raiders. Raiders are obviously going to take Mendoza. And after them, you got guys like Ty Simpson from the Alabama Crimson Tide, who should fall significantly lower. I don't think he goes in the second round because of the demand for Simpson. You could see probably his case for him rising. Now, there are other quarterbacks like Cade Klubnik and all these other guys that's in the draft that could definitely stock will rise. They will not stay buried. Like right now, a lot of them got them going in the fourth and fifth rounds, all this kind of stuff. Those guys climb in the rankings, in my estimation, when they go through their pro days, they go through the NFL combine. So you're going to obviously see quarterbacks be benefited. Well, they'll rise from where they're currently listed as third or fourth guys, fourth or fifth round picks to maybe the second round level, even to the point where you see some go a lot higher than what they're supposed to because there's a demand on signal callers in the NFL. So you'll see a couple of those things. You'll definitely see that. But Carr is simply one of these guys that wants to take advantage. He thank him big time for not for him bailing out for the Saints. The money situation fell off the books. That we still got $36 million. I think we got to pay the dude. He half of our dead money, which is the 65 whatever it is, $1 million of dead cap money that we have to deal with it. But it ultimately worked out in a fantastic way, didn't it? Carr announced his retirement after spending the 24th season with the Saints. His retirement was due in part to the torn labrum. Just weird occurrences that happened. All people didn't believe what he was saying. It doesn't matter now. He's not really our problem anymore. Upon reflection of prayer and in discussion with Heather, I decided to retire from the NFL. For more than 11 years, we've been incredibly blessed. We are forever grateful and humbled by the experience. It's difficult to find the right words to express our thanks, whatever. By retiring, Carr passed up on $30 million in guaranteed money from the Saints. The decision wasn't easy. If Carr were to suit up again, he would likely be far less than he was making before his retirement. Thursday podcast wasn't the first indication Carr considered a comeback. Rappaport and Palacero, along with Garofalo, reported last week that sources said the right situation and coaching staff could lure Carr back onto the field. In his prime, he was a strong starting quarterback who earned 4 Pro Bowl nods in his career. Unfortunately, injuries got in his way and ended his career perhaps earlier than we would have wanted. I ain't going to go too much into it because we seen what happened when he did play for the Saints the 2 years under Dennis Allen, and it wasn't pretty. The 2025 season proved that the quarterback making a return to the NFL is not impossible. Just ask Phillip Rivers. Perhaps 34-year-old Carr will get a chance to make a comeback in 2026. I could see him getting on to a team or getting somewhere. As far as the Saints are concerned, finding a place, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's some other team, right? Well, he'll get an opportunity to play. I don't see starter level in this guy. I really don't. After sitting out playing as bad as he did in a couple of years, we had him sitting out a year from the injury. He's gonna come in rusty. And listen, all the success in the world to Carr going forward. They'll have some spots for Carr to have an opportunity perhaps to play. Maybe Arizona's one of those places. Perhaps the Minnesota Vikings is one of those places. Hell, you never can tell. There are teams out there that's looking for a veteran quarterback. Miami Dolphins could be one. I'm thinking the Dolphins could be a team, depending on what kind of offense they could put around him. But if you could put an offensive line around him, give him a running attack and wide receivers that can move, you might see some action with this guy. But everything around him got to be right for him to have that type of situation. If you have things out of line, it could be disastrous, right? In terms of what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's keep it going, man. Look at this article right here. Saints linked to the Vikings, right? Saints QB linked to Vikings as trade buzz heats up, right? Saints have their franchise quarterback in Tyler Shough, but a year or two ago, it seemed like Carr was set to lead them for the short-term future. But last offseason, Carr entered a medical retreatment, which put Shough in the driver's seat to lead the franchise. Now, a year later, Carr seemingly healthy and ready to return to the NFL, but the Saints have moved on. As a result, he could come out of retirement as a trade to the right situation. So we talked about CBS Sports' John Breach recently suggested the Vikings could be a landing spot for Carr. You heard what Derek Carr's brother said, that, the purple and gold, he said the Lakers can't, sillily, but we know that as Vikings makes a lot of sense for Carr. They took a gamble at the position in 24 and hit the jackpot, but they threw all their money away in 2025. And of course, we talked about Sam Darnold here. Darnold led Minnesota to a 14-3 record in 2024. Vikings got greedy and thought they could do better, so they let him walk in free agency and decided to roll the dice by going with J.J. McCarthy. In his first 4 years as a starter, McCarthy looked much closer to being a bust than someone who can eventually be Minnesota's franchise QB. The Vikings have already proved they can win games with the right quarterback, and Carr seems like the perfect veteran who could come in and help. The Vikings won 9 games in 2025 with McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Max Brosmer, all starting at least 2 games, and Carr seems like a step up from those. He is definitely a step up than a Carson Wentz or Max Brosmer. The Vikings could use Carr if they're willing to admit that drafting J.J. McCarthy was a mistake. You could still have McCarthy there and have Carr as a competing interest. It almost guarantees that Carr will return and be more productive than McCarthy as a result if they're willing to host a quarterback battle between the two. I think that's positive. Carr could be confident in his ability to win the job. With their talent on offense, is an ideal situation for Carr, who can lean heavily on Justin Jefferson as a veteran quarterback and get back into the swing of things in the NFL. He seems like a match made in heaven if the Vikings are willing to swallow their pride and bench McCarthy. You don't have to bench McCarthy. Just simply bring in Carr as a competing interest. You know, you can still have both, too. I think McCarthy would benefit from Carr. Justin Jefferson, you got a guy that can perhaps throw the deep ball. We don't know what he looks like now since he's coming off the injury. You have to show that because he's been battling injuries the last 3 years. So is he healthy enough to play? That is yet to be determined on what he can do, right? It's yet to determine. But so what would it look like, right? What would it look like to trade Derek Carr, and how would that impact the Who Dat Nation, the New Orleans Saints? What would that look like? Well, according to the article, it says that trading Carr in 2026 would likely net the Saints a mid to late round draft pick, but it involves navigating a complex salary cap situation following his 2025 medical retirement. The Saints have moved on to Tyler Shough is the franchise starter, so Carr will serve as a valuable trade chip when he does unretire and get ready for the 2026 season. So the financial impact and the dead money. The Saints currently hold Carr's rights because his contract, quote, froze, end quote, upon his retirement in May of 2025, right? So follow me on this. The cap savings by trading Carr from after June 1st, 2026, the Saints could split his massive dead money hit. I'm giving you the game because this is good. I had to research this and figure out what is the impact. We know Carr wants to play and teams are interested in Derek Carr. So what would that look like? So by trading him after post June 1st, 2026, the Saints could split his dead cap hit. That will leave approximately $19.2 million on the books for this year. That's deferring the remaining 40.6 to next year. Did you catch that? If we trade Derek Carr after June 1st, right? We trade him after June 1st. This will leave approximately over 19.2 million on the books for this year alone. That is, and then the remaining balance, the 40.5 million, falls over until 2027 when we got $150 million plus in salary cap money next year, plus the potential rise in salary cap for the NFL. So this is a tremendous blessing by Carr coming out of retirement, and we saying, hey, man, let's get this guy out of here. If he wants to play, we still got him here. This will be the economic benefit of trading Carr. Remember, post June 1st, we trade him. We can split that dead money hit. We get $19 million back this year on that dead money and the rest in 2027. That is a humongous blessing, fam. We could see if, when the Saints do this, family, and they rework the money. We talked about in the previous broadcast that y'all will see tonight. We'll cover that tonight at our afternoon side of things. But we talk about the fact that with Derek Carr possibly getting traded, we talk about the reworking of the contracts. The contracts that we're talking about them reworking are 4 contracts split between guys like Chase Young, Elvin Kamara, and the top 5 guys, Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, their contracts. If we just restructure those contracts, we can say we can get like $30-something million. Well, actually, it's more than that. It's north of 35. With those 5 rework deals on tonight when we do our off-season preview show, we'll talk about more in depth. But with those 5 contracts that I'll show y'all, we can free up roughly $30+ million on just 5 contracts alone. If now you're talking about trading Carr after the June 1st, and that's another $19 million, that'll put the Saints roughly $60 million plus just for those things alone. That's a huge savings for free agency, because with that amount of money, we not only could comfortably sign our veterans, our free agency our draft picks, but we can also get DeMario, Cam, Alante back if it's not too pricey. Go into free agency and get a couple of guards to come to the team. We can re-sign Luke Fortner. We can re-sign several Saints defenders, Chris Rumph II, Jonah Williams, Jonathan Bullard. The Saints could do several really positive things, bringing some key veterans in on the offensive line and adding some pieces, an experienced wide receiver, perhaps a running back in free agency. And we can really do some positive stuff to set us up for a draft in which we just take the best player available on our board. It'd be an easy draft for the Saints, right? When they appease this, when they have all this money. And remember, in 2027, the Saints have over $150 million in cap money that they'll have access to, that the remaining $40.5 million of Carr's contract will be kicked into. This is a huge blessing for the Saints. This wipes away all the ugliness that we dealt with in terms of the money over the last. It doesn't remind the losses, but it does improve the benefit of the Saints getting more money to improve the team faster, right, as opposed to struggle through it. That's a blessing. That's the cap saving side of it. The dead money totals, if he's traded before June 1st, the Saints would face an immediate and untenable $79 million cap acceleration. So we don't trade him before June 1st. We trade him after. So I'm giving y'all a game. So if there's a trade that's going to happen with Derek Carr, it most certainly won't happen until after, or be designated, or the trade has to happen after the June 1st to get the benefit of the $19.2 million for 2026 and kick the remaining $40.5 into 27 where we can absorb it better, right? And then there's the recoup funds, right? Due to his retirement, Carr reportedly agreed to return $30 million in previous restructured money, which lowers the 2026 dead cap hit from roughly $60 million to $30.9 million. So there's some recoup funds that he didn't get because of the fact that he didn't fulfill his obligations for playing. So that's a benefit. And of course, then when you address the potential trade scenarios for Derek Carr, this is what I have for you. The Saints asking price is expected to start near, if you look at the Geno Smith trade model, right, which was a 3rd round pick, though most analysts expect the 4th or 5th round pick given Carr's age and his contract, right? Which is fair. A lot of people say, Q, I'm looking at a mid-round pick somewhere along in there, right? 4th and 5th round pick, I'm cool with that, fam. But we can get a 4th round pick for Derek Carr, like a 4th to 5th round pick somewhere. I'm good with that because we got 2 4s already. And we have 2 5s, if I'm not mistaken. So, fam, this could be a big year. Yeah, we already got 2 4s. We got one from Seattle, right? We got one from Seattle. Plus, we had a compensatory pick that we got. So we got 2 4s and we got 2 5s. We got our original 5th round pick and we got one from Seattle. So if we get a 4th or 5th round pick, that'll make us get extra 4th or 5th round pick to add to what we got going on. And plus the cap savings, I'm totally good with that, right? So the asking price is that's the asking price. So what would the scenario be? The Jets. Okay, let's talk about the Jets. Let's give a couple of teams, that might be in the looking for, right? 3 teams. The Jets, which is the desperate move, the desperation move. The Jets quarterback situation don't look all that good. Failed experiments of Justin Fields and Brady Cook, that's not looking good. The Carr can be had for a 4th round pick. And perhaps a 7th round pick, you throw, another pick in there, see if you can get extra pick in there. But perhaps because the Jets are desperate, you offer them Derek Carr, right? Now Carr gives them a quarterback that is a veteran quarterback, got a strong arm. He hadn't played that well to me over the last 3 years, but the Jets will have to figure a way to deal with it. Remember, the Jets don't have any options, right? Unless they trade for an established quarterback from somebody, right? Or they go out into free agency and see if they could pick up a Hendon Hooker or perhaps a Malik Willis and bring that guy onto the team. But is any of those guys better than what Justin Fields gave them? There are not that many veterans available. So that could be a desperation move for the Jets to give us a 2026 4th round pick and perhaps a 7th round pick if we can fleece them out of it, right? Now the outcome where Carr provides a bridge for, 3 to 4 seasons and he saves the coaching staff's job with the Jets roster remains in a win now mode. So you've seen what Coach Glenn did. His biggest encumbrance now is adding veteran talent there. They have some really good pieces. Now, whether they bring Breece Hall back, they have some high picks in the draft, which, they can build up the offensive line. They got some players over there. Maybe they had another wide receiver there or stuff like that. They were able to trade and bring picks back so they can go into the draft. So do you then pivot to a veteran quarterback like Carr, who, if you give him the weapons, perhaps he can make an offense exciting again? So that's one outcome with the Jets, the desperation move, right? Number two, the Colts, right? A veteran insurance plan. We know that Jones was hurt coming off the injury. They still have Anthony Richardson. We heard that it's possible Richardson could be traded. They're not really feeling him. So perhaps a current starter recovering from that Achilles tear that happened late in 2025. Maybe we can get Carr for a 2026 fourth-round pick. Carr acts as a high-level safety blanket or a bridge starter, behind an elite offensive line and Jonathan Taylor until Jones is fully healthy. Now, that sounds like pretty good. Jonathan Taylor is awesome. The offensive line is good. They do have some good weapons. We know Alec Pierce is in free agency now. They might look at that, but they have some fantastic players there, and the Colts are still looking to kind of improve as well. They'll have some high draft picks to add to the team. So these are teams that's in need of veteran quarterback that have a trade aspects or assets rather, who can kind of give us an opportunity to kind of add to that thing, right? We'll have to see. And then, of course, the third thing is the Vikings. We just talked about that on this article, that the young QB push scenario, right? J.J. McCarthy struggled. He ranking last in the NFL in several different categories. The Vikings want a proven veteran that could push him in camp or start immediately. That's Derek Carr. The trade, perhaps a conditional 2026 third round pick, similar to what the Brett Favre trade. Like, we can get Carr. He's healthy. He can come in. They're not looking for him to start right away. Just push the starter and J.J. McCarthy, provide competition. A conditional third could work. The outcome, Carr is enticed by his elite weapons, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, these type of things, and the Vikings, yeah. So Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and having that type of offense around and pushing them and those guys, perhaps that can kind of give them new life, so to speak. When you got fantastic elite level wide receivers you could throw to, that definitely changes the dynamic, and maybe a conditional 2026 third round pick could be halved, right? So that's just something to talk about. So we'll see how it all handles, man. But that's just some of the information to talk about and how a trade would happen for Derek Carr. Remember, trading Carr post June 1st gives us $19.2 million on the 2026 cap. That's this year. And the remaining $40.5 million is kicked into 2027. We can better absorb it there with the $156+ million we'll have on our cap next year. Plus the Saints recouping almost $31 million in money that they agreed to get, and restructured money that he had to give back because he didn't play in any of the games. So remember, they have to do it that way. And that's just some of the scenarios that we talk about, which could happen for Derek Carr if the time comes for us to kind of move him on out of here. That's what it would look like. And that's all I got for y'all today. Shout out to FanDuel. Y'all go to FanDuel and check out MMA and NFL, NBA, whatever the case may is in professional sports. FanDuel it is the app. It is the headquarters of betting. Y'all check FanDuel out. They're official sponsor of the show. You also check out our merch on our Shuck Y'all gears, available on sale too. You guys check it out. The link is in the description section below. Also, shout out to our Patreon and YouTube membership family. Shout out to y'all guys for helping us continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and keep coming at you with the real deal spill for the Who Dat Nation and the Great Saint Think Tank. I appreciate y'all, man. With that being said, I'm going to get on up out of here, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Big Q representing the mighty Who Dat Nation. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Much love, peace, and Who Dat.
Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. Thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Yeah, Buggy like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with the whodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit the WhoDatDaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.